it doesn't even have to be we've noticed that you might have issues here. It could just be then at the end, like it could just be more a prompt at the end to say, like, when you get your first statement, this is what it's going to look like, whether it does or doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a physical.
It could be universal. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how much more do we tell you versus how much you find? So to your point, Bernie, if they're smashing it out of the park in the first question or two, then maybe they don't need the extra bits in the application, but they'll never know because it's a customer-driven experience.
I think in the same way that you have, like, when you, like, you know, the mortgage, like, how much will I, like, if I make X amount of money and I have a mortgage over 25 years, how long will it take me to pay back at an interest rate of blah? It could just be
years,
like
apparently.
Yeah, no, but like, do you know what I mean? If you make extra payments, bloody well.
You mean your mortgage calculator? Yeah.
Yeah, your mortgage calculator. It could be a scenario like that, and people opt into it.
Okay. So where are you happy putting it, Bianca? What do you reckon?
Good challenge, Bernie.
I don't know where to put it. I understand where we've landed, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's a perception one. It's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know how hard it is for a bank necessarily to create a quiz about.
Super easy. You got really smart people like Bridget there.
Yeah, but maybe it is really important, and I think it could maybe sit around here because it would kind of become part of the add-in.
Yeah.
What do you guys reckon?
Yeah, I think it
could form part of the add-in.
I think it's super easy in execution. I think it's actually quite difficult to sell it.
Yeah, I think that's all right.
The creation of why you're making me jump through this hoop. That's my difficulty part. Is the
no, but I don't think it's like jumping through a hoop because the card doesn't say if you get these many questions wrong, we're not going to let you get a credit card. It's just like seeing where you're at without them. Does the customer even need to know that that's what we're assessing at this point?
Gotcha. Okay.
Question. Does it need to be at the beginning? Could you just say I sign up for my credit card, Bridget gives me my credit card, thank you, and then I get an email with my card, or I get when they send me the card in the mail, they say click on this link to learn more about like credit cards, spending habits. It's opt-in, you get to choose, it's available to you, and then you get a report at the end, or you get some tips and tricks at the end on how you can
way that you activate your card, maybe.
Before you activate
your card, this quiz to activate it.
We talked about that as to why people also don't read the terms and conditions. It's because it's at the end, because you've already got what you came here for. So the purpose of having it in the beginning or scattered through the application was because it was then more engaging, and as part of the
process.
At the end, when you get that approved, it's almost mentally like they've gone, well, I've done it now. I've obviously got approved without needing to know that. So that was the comment
that's a fair
around
point.
it, like put it at the beginning or like at the end. Why do you expect anyone to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But it could have an opt-in for more, in a way.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think you could meet out this solution alone. Like there could be a whole business like this. That's actually like quite a big one to get into. It's got a lot of.
I love so much about it.
Advising that. I would hate to be the legal team advising on that.
Yeah, but legal doesn't exist in the board. There's no legal here. I could see that being life-changing in banking. Like just having little videos, content, what's interest, what happens. Like you could make it funny. You could make it, little Jimmy went to work today and spent $10,000 at the pokies. Like, you could do whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
Like the creativity there is endless.
Get your business case sorted, Bridget. You wanted a promo? This is
And they have talked about this assignment with one of our senior approval officers today.
Oh.
And he was
Still
like,
I'm
surprised
just to clarify.
you're not just making a buy now, pay later option for the banks. I'm like, you've got such limited thinking. That's not what the ethnography told us. Plus 2 out of 4 of the big banks have it already. So it's really not that exciting.
All right, 3 more to go. Who wants to do the next one?
I can do this one if you like. This is sort of hard to change. Whoa, what did I do?
Oh,
Put it back.
Control Z.
I got it. This is difficult to create in terms of actual technology. So the simple language on T's and C's, adding in functionalities and metrics, that is difficult. Do I think it's going to get as much bang for buck as some of these? Probably not. It might sit around here because it is difficult stuff.
I might drop the importance a little bit. I don't think it's going to get us the most value. I think it will help with the perception of banks trying to be more user friendly. What do you guys think?
I suppose I see customers when they're like, why couldn't I have had this proactively? Whereas I see it. I don't see it.
Probably quite a small percentage, right?
Yeah.
Of the overall.
Well, it's 50% of my target group of my people I spoke to.
50% of the customer group?
I've got no idea about customers, but I mean my people who had gotten into trouble either didn't know it was an option or it was too difficult to do, too late.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yep, I'm happy with that. All right, 2 left. What have we got, people? Who wants to grab those 2 left?
I'll grab this creative.
You go first.
Is this kind of already captured?
Which one is it?
This one. I can't stop creative for a second. Sorry.
Create accessible, easy to use, financial, digital learning hub. Yeah, no, it is. It's kind of, but it's an amalgamation of things. So it's a really easy thing to do.
Yeah.
You could, I guess, put it in.
I reckon it's quite important, yeah, because so if we're talking about accessibility and usability, and certainly talking to the someone that wants to, and I won't talk for you guys, but I'd be really interested in your opinion about, do you want to have an advisor call you up, a man in a suit, and say, hey, this is what credit cards are about, young girl? Or do you want to actually have your own ability to go, hey, I'm feeling like I want to get learned. I'll get onto the hub and learn me some good stuff.
Are you telling you're millennial now?
I kind of saw that as something.
That's what you guys say.
I kind of saw it as something that would be available in the add-in, or something that the banks make available and accessible themselves. But definitely
I do
available.
wonder if the people who seek this out are really the people who are the ones who need it most, though, because it is so. It feels, and I might have interpreted this part, it feels very self-paced. I wonder if that's going to have.
Can I ask if that's is that your bias of the people that you deal with? Because aren't we talking about a full demographic?
Like, I'm just thinking about people who go out and actively seek learning, or something. There's an option to do something that doesn't have any instant gratification benefit, so there's no instant reward. Like, I could have watched a YouTube clip about I don't know, how to do more design thinking shit, but I'm just not that interested, so I just didn't. So I'm just wondering if, because it is so self-sourced and doesn't tie into then an immediate benefit, are we going to capture all the people?
Well, who's to say it couldn't, though? Because, like, I guess if you have a behavior, like if you think about like your electricity bill, and you know how sometimes they'll send you your electricity bill and say, hey, you've used more or less electricity this month. Here's some ways that you can reduce your electricity bill. So it's got a financial link to, like, how do you reduce your costs overall? People might be willing to then, so like, I'm thinking, if you've got the app that analyzes your spending and is saying you're spending a lot on Tuesday and on Uber Eats, here's some like links on how you could reduce your spending in this area, blah, blah, and blah. The hub, it links you directly to the hub. That's because I feel like the hub itself, without being linked to anything, definitely is a very narrow target audience and is probably going to be limited in influence. But if we link it to their direct spending habits and how they can change them, I think that's where the power is.
Yeah.
I
think
suppose
that's
it's
good.
because it's not new and because it exists. Like all that stuff does exist, but maybe not as well, like partnered
Integrated.
and
Yeah.
and marketed. That's why I'm like, well, if it's all available and they're not using, like we millennials are not using it now, how is this different?
Can we just put Liam Hemsworth
To
producing
promote.
it?
Yeah.
On the front, just look at me.
Link
I
it
got
to
my
the
top off.
center up.
Get some financials into you.
It reminds me of that marketing video where he's talking about Australia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it was just his voice. All right, last one. Create a separate entity to the bank.
This is when I
Okay.
thought we were building a lifeblood van.
That's it. Who wants to
You
take it?
I'll take it. Okay, I think this will be extremely difficult. But I don't know how important
Agreed.
it is.
I think it'll be super difficult.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be really difficult. So is it important? I guess I want to have that discussion. Do we think that people want to be educated not from the bank if they do trust the bank with their money?
Yeah,
But
that
in
was
the
that
same
question
time-
around Facebook, right? Would you buy a credit card off Facebook? And everyone's like, no,
Yeah.
even though they trusted Facebook much more than they
Mm.
trusted
Their data.
banks at the time.
But there's also something to be said about if it's something that you can bring along to or experience. I know we're not having the van anymore, that's gone. But like if you what do they have about that business chicks thing that they do? I've never been.
Yeah.
There's that
Oh, yeah.
movement, that movement of
Yeah.
that sort of thing. It's like the bring
Women
a
in
friend
finance.
thing, like the
Yeah.
didn't that Sophie Keisha chick do a bunch of things around about business and people went and like it's got that feel to it. Like if you know people that are going or attending and it has that community safety, like social element to it
do it.
almost.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
the
again,
entity
yes,
in itself might actually be
Mm.
something that's funded by all the banks. The big four banks in New Zealand could get together and chip in, but it still becomes an interaction or a social thing.
Yeah.
Tea and
I
credit
like it.
cards,
so
coffee and
do you think it's
finance.
important?
Sure to be shy.
Coffee and finance.
This doesn't work, does it?
I don't know. I reckon it could.
Have we landed our matrix?
Yep.
Should
Okay,
we
so I'm leaving
stop?
it there. Right.
That's good. It's good,
Should we
people.
stop
Let me-
recording?
Yep.